You guys, when you do both of you read the script for this movie? Came to you as it came to you? Is that how you got for both of it? I mean, I would imagine knowing everything you both know about it, did you immediately go, "Wow, this captures that moment exactly"?
For me, it did. I read the script, and it was the second script I've ever read, and it was the best script I ever read. It was really well written, and it executed great. And I think that as what they wanted to, the essence of behind the draft scenes and what goes on in the organization, they really captured and embodied what it means to be like an NFL GM or owner.
Yeah, for me, I had gotten contacted by some people at the NFL that let me know that this movie was happening. And at first I was a little reticent because I didn't want to do a puff piece, where it's just, propaganda, basically. And I just wanted to make sure it was real. And when I finally got the script, and I couldn't stop reading it. It was so fascinating. The twists, the turns, one of the best things I had read in years. And I knew I was onto something. I knew I had to be a part of it. And I met with Ivan Reitman and told him my NFL story, and ended up in the movie. It was cool.
Did you find any of your acting colleagues asking you about if this was real, if this felt right, or did you guys have any of that with some of the other cast members?
I don't have any acting colleagues. this is my first. I now do. I got his phone number, so he's my acting colleague now. But I got a lot of questions from professional, from my other athletes on my team and stuff. How was it? Like, what was it like? And they call me Hollywood and things like that. But that's about as far as it went for me.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of people asking me, was this real? Is this true? Is that how crazy this stuff is? Yeah. And I was like, yes, it is. But it's no different than any business, any successful business. When you're talking about a successful business, businesses that are not that successful, there's not really that much care involved. But when you're talking about the tops of the tops, it gets brutal. The competition gets, it gets really, really intense. And I think this is what this is. It's a sports business movie, which really deals with what happens when you dedicate your life to this business. Your relationships suffer. The relationships with your parents, how that works. The fact that we're about to get drafted, that changes you from being poor to rich overnight. What dynamic does that add to your life? So it was on so many different levels. It was just perfect in that tone.
Yeah, and one of the things I think that's so great is that whether you're an expert and whether you watch every Sunday or whether you have no knowledge, I think the movie's just as accessible in terms of what's going on behind the scenes.
Totally.
And also, I don't know that people have ever thought. I never thought about the front office and sort of how much strategy and how much they need to know behind the scenes about every possible player, the future of their guys. And really, it's like a giant chess game in each of these guys' heads. It seems like.
But I would actually say, it's also Vegas. Because chess, you have a little bit more strategy. Here,
the pawn is gonna go straight.
Yeah, here you grab a first round pick and he could be like, "I'm going to party," and it's like, "Oh no, you don't know what you just bought," and you had to buy, and it's kind of wild because I like to akin the NFL draft to a huge movie trailer, and it's a great trailer, but when you see the movie, that's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
And working with Kevin Costner for both of you.
Honor. It was just a complete honor. You grow up watching him. He's a legend in his craft, and the fact that I'm gonna share the same space and time with him, and it'll forever be, captured on film, so I can show my kids. That, in my generation, I worked with one of the greats, and same with Terry, man. It's been an honor being in this production.
Kevin, I've been privileged to work with some of the best in the business, and this is how I make my decisions. It's really where, you have to work. You're only as good as the people you work with. And working with Sly and Arnold, and now to do a sports movie with Kevin Costner, and Ivan Reitman, by the way, one of the greatest directors who ever did it. It's just made it a no-brainer for me. And it was just, I knew it was going to get the treatment that it deserved.